How's it going, guys? Sith Holocron from the Dongers of Runeterra, and I am reflecting on all the new reveals that are coming out um, in the next expansion, the landmarks and all that kind of carry on. So, while we still can, I'm bumping this one forward. I make a lot of videos in advance. Um, some of my best most watched videos were decks that were built around keywords. So we had an overwhelmed deck, we had an elusive led deck, we had other sort of things that were really quite good indeed. But fearsome stuff. Yeah, I really like this. And my last deck was okay, but with Targon, we can make it better. And then we can do Nightfall. So we now have a fearsome Nightfall deck. So the basis is built around the Diana Nocturne deck. That's the basis of the deck. But instead of having Diana, we now have Kalista. We have a lot of things that will die eventually, especially when you're playing against things like Freljord, who are putting out 3/3s, and the Fearless doesn't work as well. I did have this with Elise, but Kalista, to be able to pull something out is much more fun. So let's go into the deck and show you what we've got. I'm going to take out the Crawling Sensation because it's not good enough, because Elise is no longer in there. And we're very simply going to put in a Star Shaping because, well, why the hell would you not? So that goes in there, and that is now our deck. So we start with Lunari Duskbringer. A 2/1 for 1 mana, brings a Dusk Petal Dust in hand, and that costs 1 mana as well. But the next unit with Nightfall you play this round costs 1 less. Sounds awful, is absolutely brilliant with a lot of Nightfall in this deck as well, because we want to be leveling up Nocturne, who then makes everything fearsome, which is fantastic. And will win you the game. That's pretty much this game's win condition. And then up here, this is where we put in our fear. So everything with the word fearsome in it in these regions are here. So these are all the cards. And as you can see, Elise was one at a 2-drop, which is kind of good. Nocturne coming out at 4. I wanted something, a sort of champion to go with it. I immediately went for Elise because she's still an amazing character that I adore. But Kalista is actually probably better. And the fact that she's a 4/3 instead of a 2/3 for the extra 1 mana, and if she sees 3 allies die, so we have things like Lunari Dustbringer that will die. That's not a problem at all. We also have Stalking Shadows, but we'll get to that in a minute. And this is how you level up your Kalista. This has been pretty key in the deck so far. So all the rest of the sort of stuff, you know, a 1/1 fearsome is trash because that is a 2/1 and makes my Nightfall units better. That's why the Sinister Portal isn't in there. I've got a Nightfall list to give it +2 and fearsome this round. Again, not worth it. It then just goes back to a 2/1 blocker. Useless. Lunari Dustbringer is a solid 2/1 blocker. Gives you something on 1, and off you go, because you really do need that Dusk Petal. It helps a great deal. Now, Arachnoid Horror, however, is a 2 mana 3/2 with Fearsome. Put that down in round 2. If you're attacking round 2, nothing is going to have anything like that at all. You are ready to go. And then our first Nightfall unit, which you will need to put onto the board. Whether or not you give her elusive or not, she's still a 2/3. She'll stick around. But if you can put it down second, do it, because then you're granting her elusive and she slips in through the nets really quite nicely. I'm also thinking of adding another spell in here, because we only have 13 spells to... Yeah, there we go. To my recollection, 13 spells here. Mistrace, brilliant 2/2. We've got 3 of these, which is fantastic. We are not running the 4-drop to bring out another Mistwraith because, again, it doesn't have fearsome. This is a fearsome deck. I want everything to have as much fearsome as possible, so that is what that is. Peel Cascade is fantastic. Give an ally 2/1 this round. That will kill something completely off. It can win you the game. It can destroy a unit you need to go and trade up with to get rid of a champion, which is fantastic. That's the second card you've played. So say you drop down a horror, and then you can do this, and they've put out Draven. You can put out the horror and win the game. pretty much. Doesn't really matter what's happening here. You know, that's a 3. They can throw out something like an Elise, go out there and just kill the thing. Even with a Mistwraith, because then it becomes a 4-3, and she ain't killing it. So you put that out first. If you don't draw the card, that's unfortunate, but you've taken a champion off. That's much more better. So how do we level Kalista? Well, here we go. This is the first version of it altogether. I was going to put in the Caretaker, and again, thought a bit too slow. This is quite an aggro deck. It wants to be quite fast, not waiting around trying to do stuff. So pick a follower from the top 4 cards in your deck. You draw it, you shuffle the rest into your deck, and then create an ephemeral copy in hand. If you have a Kalista on the board, drop down the ephemeral one. There's 1 gone. Throw out your things that are probably going to die. That levels her up. Don't throw her up in case they've got something like Brothers Bond or Get Excited or something that'll do the 3 like Grasp of the Undying and all that sort of stuff. Let her level up. She then becomes a 5/4 and brings out the strongest unit that she has down the next attack. Unspeakable Horror, brilliant for 2 reasons, really. Number 1, it's cheap. And number 2, you drain 1 from anything. I've won 2 games with this card because we'd got them down to 1 with all the fearsome stuff that we had, and I had 2 mana left, and that was enough. I won the game. It's also fast, so it's very, very hard for them to stop it. Now, there is a very cheap Deny coming out that costs 2 that will stop slow and fast spells altogether for 2. That's going to be everywhere in the meta. But at the moment, as it isn't out yet, here we go. Unspeakable Horror, fantastico. Again, if you can put it out as your second card, you would get a Champion Nightfall card in hand. So again, something to help level up Nocturne. So let's keep going. Bastion. The first 3 you put in any deck if you're playing Targon. And then we actually went for an Overwhelm unit because I think this is fantastic. We have enough cheap stuff up there that by like turns 4, 5, you can put this down as a 5/3 with Overwhelm. That is a unit that they have to deal with completely. They will probably stop looking at Kalista and Nocturne if they can take this off the board. Because Nocturne and Kalista are only fearsome. The Overwhelm in here is a sneaky little combat trick to put early pressure on. So if you have your hand bricked with stuff that you can play in rounds 1 and 2, say you then pull a Pale Cascade, for instance, that's not going to do you anything, but you can play a Stalking Shadows, get the 2 cards, and then drop that down, because it's the second card. Great on offense, because he's fantastic on offense. The 3 health, it's a little slow, but he's a solid 3/3 unit for 3 mana. Can't complain. And the fact that he gets +2 and Overwhelm is even better because a 3/3 Overwhelm doesn't really do an awful lot. A 5/3 Overwhelm, however, does considerable amounts of nice stuff. So then we have Doombeast, again, more for Nightfall. So there's a lot of ways you can just do this up. If you've played Diana Nocturne, you know how easy it is after about round 4 that you can definitely get your Nightfall units and have them attacking. That is leveling up your Nocturne. May not level up in the first attack, but probably will level up on the second. And if he levels up, as I say, that is pretty much good night, apart from against like trolls, war mothers, all that sort of stuff. Anything that doesn't have 3 or more power are just so frightened, so super frightened of this deck that they don't even come off the bench. And that is just a free swing. That's a free swing. If you can take free swings in this, even for 6 or 7, take it. It's 6 or 7 free damage. And then build your board up again. You use those to sort of block things off, and then whoosh, attack again. Try and take the units off that are fearsome powered up. You know what I mean? So anything with a 3 of. So like if they have a Frenzied Skidder, then you want to try and kill it off. If they, leave that up, it can't defend. That can't defend. That can't defend. That can't even defend. So there we go. That's the Unspeakable Horror, Bastion, Crescent Guardian, Doombeast. Fantastic. Play it down second. Again, Nightfall unit. Will drain 2 from the enemy nexus. Will just continually chip away at damage. Fantastic one to pick if you are stalking shadows. The other one that I would completely recommend doing is the Mistress, as it then becomes 3/2 and a 4/2. You know, yeah, real good, real good. Kalista, obviously, because she's fantastic. Frenzied Skitterer has been MVP in this deck. You are looking at getting huge amounts of damage in. If you have a leveled Nocturne and you drop this down, not only does the Nocturne go, let me show you Nocturne when he's leveled. When you drop a card, give enemies -1. Frenzied Skitterer on top of that, give all spider allies, of which we have quite a few. You know, we do have, you know, the Arachnoid Horror as well. And then it's -1 to your enemies. So even if they've got 3/3s across the board, like Freylord, now they're 1/3s and you can smack the life out of them. It's fantastic. The best card in the deck. Absolutely brilliant. And again, that was one of the cards that I initially thought that Elise would probably be better with. But in saying that, we're not making enough spiders to kind of level up Kalista. So we went, with Elise. So Kalista just seems better, because if you bring this out, you know, if you bring this out, and look at the other sort of stuff, you know, if this dies, if this actually dies, if this has come out, it's a 5/3 overwhelm that can take it. The Frenzied Skitterer is a 3/2. You know, this will probably be the one that comes out, or this, or this. So this is what you're sort of looking at coming out to help with. And then our two wonderful champions in Kalista, that she only needs to see 3 allies die. We're not running Valfeasts. We're not doing anything silly like this at all. We just want fearsome units. Now, there is thoughts of replacing. I've got so many 2s. I've got so many 2s. I have actually got an idea that Pale Cascade may not be the best card in this deck. Stalking Shadows, brilliant. Unspeakable Horrors, pretty good. I mean, that has won me games, so I'm not going to take it off. That gives you Ephemeral for her. Pale Cascade, however, I'm not even sure if we need. I'm going to show you the card, the spell that I think could be really good. Okay, it costs 4, and it's this. And you summon another Mistwraith. Now, as we are a fearsome-based deck with bits of a little bit of Overwhelm, a little bit of Nightfall, is this worth putting in? At the minute, I am happy with where we are, but if I was going to take stuff out, the highest thing that we've got, Star Shaping, which heals your Nexus for 5. That's brilliant, and you get a Celestial card that costs 7 or more, so you can get yourself a dragon, if that's what comes out of the 3 cards. These guys do level up very quickly. That is never getting replaced. That's never getting replaced. Bastion sure as hell isn't getting replaced. But this is definitely something we could try and make it into some sort of Mistwraith deck. But I don't want it to be the fearsome Mistwraith deck, which is why I didn't put it in the deck that I'm currently showing you. So, there we go. A fearsome Nightfall deck that you can play probably in ranked and do okay with. I am going to take the Deckcode. I can't speak today. I have no idea what is wrong with me at all. We'll copy that and we'll put the Deckcode and all the links to our Discord and social medias in the pinned comments underneath this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're still loving Legends of Runeterra as much as I am, because making decks is just totally brilliant in my opinion, and especially when they're good ones like this. So until the next time, thanks for watching. Dongers out.